I wanted to share with you a little bit about the process of painting the Remedy series. The Remedy series was born out of a need to offer something to a stressed out world during the pandemic. Watercolor is the medium that I chose, and I've used watercolor powder, I've used watercolor pans, watercolor tubes, watercolor markers, all things watercolor for this series. And I like to start with what is thought of as the negative space. I use masking fluid, sometimes even just rubber cement to paint. So I'll approach the surface with some sort of a masking product first. The colors in this series are all the colors of the seas, especially from Hawaii. I use the blues and the greens from the oceans, and it's inspired by discovering more about my grandmother's Hawaiian heritage and just the time that I've spent in Hawaii and how much I long to return there, to travel there during this pandemic. I use markers sometimes to delineate the white space and just make it a little bit clearer. For the presentation, I like to take these paintings and put them in an epoxy resin to give the appearance to the viewer that they're floating in space. So I started by using just silicone cake pans, but when the paintings wanted to get a little bit bigger, I realized I had to create my own molds. And I did that by constructing mold cavities and then getting the compound to mix and create a rubber mold. And once the rubber mold is created, it's very easy to pour epoxy resin in there. Once I have the mold ready and I start pouring epoxy resin in there, I place the painting in there after a couple of layers. And sometimes the paintings are done on paper, sometimes they've been done on panel, they've done on canvas, they've even been done on aluminum, and I put them inside the existing epoxy mold and then pour more layers of resin, and then they emerge. After they are out of the mold, I then apply an acrylic piping to the back. That gives them the illusion that they are floating in space. And I, encourage people to just sort of stand in front of the paintings and clear their mind and allow any kind of emotion that they may associate with the calm seas to rise. And again, the light coming from behind the resin is to suggest a feeling of weightlessness and remedy.